I'm Fallon, 33, middle child between two sisters who never learned how to hear the word no. Leona is 35, sharp, loud, always the center of every room. Tessa is 29, unpredictable, always has some drama happening and expects the rest of us to catch her when she falls. Growing up in a quiet suburban part of the Midwest, I learned early how to disappear into the background and make things easier for everyone else. I never minded being the one who stayed calm, stayed dependable, until I realized what it was costing me. Our parents meant well, I'll give them that. But they always seemed to miss how uneven things really were. Leona was the go-getter. She moved out at 20 and started her own marketing firm by 25. Tessa? She was the baby. She stayed home the longest, drifted through part-time jobs and situationships, and always had some new meltdown or request. I went to school, worked part-time, contributed to bills, and kept my head down. No complaints. That was the job I was assigned, keep the peace, smooth things over, don't make noise. When I graduated and became a paralegal, nobody made a big deal of it. My mom gave a short hug, Dad said that's nice, and we moved on. But when Leona got promoted at her agency, there was champagne, a dinner at a steakhouse, and a toast about how she was building her empire. Same thing happened when Tessa moved out of the house for real this time. They helped her load up a U-Haul, like she was heading off to college. I helped too. Of course I did. I paid part of Tessa's rent when her boyfriend left her out of nowhere. She cried on my couch for a week, left tissues everywhere, and walked out without so much as a thank you. When Leona got married in the Bahamas, I was the one helping book flights, emailing back and forth with the hotel staff, printing schedules. I even made a binder. It wasn't my wedding, but again, I helped. That's what I did. That's what they expected. Last Thanksgiving is when things finally cracked. We were cleaning up after dinner at our parents' place when Mom casually said that I'd be watching Leona's twins that weekend. Apparently, Leona had a spa trip booked with her friends, and they'd already figured I'd be free. No one asked. It wasn't presented like a favor. It was treated like a given. The way you might say, the mail comes at noon. They didn't even pause to see if I responded. Tessa was already putting leftovers into plastic containers. Leona was scrolling through her phone. My mom looked at me like, "You'll be fine, right?" And then moved on to talking about pie. I stood there with a plate in my hand and realized I'd canceled a trip I had planned that same weekend. I was supposed to be out of town with someone I'd started seeing. He was the first guy in a long time who seemed interested in me, not just in what I could do for him. When I told him I had to reschedule, he backed off completely. A few days later, he stopped texting. When I asked why, he said I seemed like someone who was always available for everyone but herself. He wasn't wrong. That night, I sat down with a notebook and went back through my calendar. I counted 16 weekends that year where I'd been roped into something for one or both of my sisters. Watching the twins, feeding Leona's cat, helping Tessa paint, picking someone up from the airport, running out to get last-minute decorations, even baking cupcakes for a baby shower that wasn't mine to organize. Every time it was me. Every time it was assumed. When I told Leona I couldn't help once, just once, she rolled her eyes and said, "You don't have kids. You have time." When I said no to Tessa, she joked that I liked helping. Maybe I did. Maybe I did for longer than I should have, but helping isn't the same thing as being used. So I made a decision. Quietly. No speeches. No drama. I just stopped saying yes. If someone asked, I checked my own schedule. If it didn't work for me, I said no. No excuse. No apology. Just no. I didn't tell anyone I was changing things. I didn't ask them to notice. But I did watch what happened when the answer wasn't automatic anymore. The world didn't collapse. But a few people started to trip. And for the first time, I